wrestling programs in our area. And with me is senior Nicholas Nugent, who has been here since his 6th grade. He's a two-time state finalist. He's also been a part of a team that's won a state championship. Thank you so much for joining us, Nicholas. Of course. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. We were talking a little bit off air before we actually started this program. What led you to want to wrestle? Because from what I hear from Mom, wrestling has been in the family for quite some time. So what made you want to start wrestling?
I mean, it has been in the family for, as long as I can remember. I mean, I know I've heard the stories of when my dad wrestled in high school. And growing up, I was always just in the bleachers watching my brother, the joy and excitement that I could see in their eyes. And it just kind of grew from there. And then being on the team with my brothers, just getting to watch them and then follow in their footsteps, it just built that love that I have for the sport.
Is your brothers who you look up to, your dad, or anyone else that had a big influence in your wrestling career?
I'd say just all the seniors who came before me, just being able to practice with them. I mean, I'd get beat down every other day, but I mean, that's what makes you better. And it was just watching to see what I could do better and what they did differently that caught me, and it's kind of all those people that I look up to as mentors and previous seniors.
How did it feel like playing with your brothers and being able to watch them, knowing that in a few years that's going to be you? Was it hard? Was it tough? I got to play with my brother, and I was the older brother, so I made sure I had to take care of him. Was it the same relationship with you and your brothers? Did they take care of you, or how did that go?
It was a little bit. I mean, they definitely wanted to beat up on me, and that kind of gave me the sense of wanting to just be better, you know, in every aspect. But they did always look after me. Like if they never went too far to get me hurt, or always were looking for a way to help me better myself and give me the slight teach that I need to get me to where I am today. And they're both of them are very much people I have to thank for the success that I've had.
I have high admiration for sports like tennis, golf, and wrestling, because it's just you and the opponent. You don't have, you have your teammates cheering you on, but in that match, you can't come and tag someone to come and help you out. What is it like being on the mat when it's just you, the guy you're going against, a lot of people watching you? Is it a lot of pressure? How do you handle stuff like that when it's just you isolated by yourself?
To me, it's the best feeling in the world, because there's no other excuse that you can have for the performance that you put on while you're out there. So before the matches, I'm always nervous. But the second I step on, all of that goes away. And I'm like, it's me versus my opponent. And just getting that sensation of the tiredness and the fatigue, it almost makes me want to go more and to push myself even harder.
Right.
And it's an addicting feeling.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and that's a great response, man. As a competitor, as an athlete, that's the mindset you need to have. Again, two-time state finalist. He's also a two-time national prep qualifier, and you've been at Pacelli since your 6th grade year, man. So you've been there since you started middle school. And I've asked this question to Caroline Hilton, who's a volleyball player. I've asked this to Jason Nelson, a football player. I'm going to ask you the same thing. What is it like to be a Viking? Why is this place special? Why did you want this place be the place that you graduated from?
I mean, it's short. It's just one big family. I mean, everyone knows everyone by name, and no matter if you have your own clique or your own small group of friends, everyone's going to make sure you're okay at the end of the day. You're never going to walk past the hallway, and if you're having a bad day, no one's ever going to just ignore you. I mean, they'll do what they can to make you smile and do what they can to just help you feel better.
Right.
And having that sense of community, it's what I like, because it helps me get through all the struggles and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we love the Pacelli Vikings. Again, we're live here from the Beck Center, who is also presenter for all things we do for Pacelli Athletics. All right, let's talk about your relationship with Coach Adrian Anderson, who is a 37-year coach, a 3-time state champion, and he's got the top wrestling program in our area. What is it like to have someone like him with all the pedigree, the knowledge that he has? How's it been like wrestling underneath someone that has, I guess, high expectations for all of you?
I mean, it's been phenomenal. I've been with him his entire time that he's been here, and vice versa. And just being able to grow under his program and just truly get the best coaching that I need, it's been something I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. Just because I wouldn't be where I am today without my brothers, but also without his coaching style. The pedigree that he has and that depth of knowledge that he has in not only the sport, but just life, it's something that truly impacted me.
So let's talk about a little bit outside of Pacelli. Do you do anything else with wrestling? I want everyone to understand, and I'm pretty green at this too. Is there travel wrestling, like there is travel baseball, travel basketball? I know I probably don't know what I'm talking about right now, but that's why I'm letting you what do you outside of just wrestling at Pacelli?
Earlier on, I did try a little bit of stuff. Like, there's different styles of wrestling. So
Right.
there's freestyle, folk style, and I tried a little bit of freestyle. But I truly found that I just like to do it in the school aspect because you
Nice.
have that community with you.
Right.
And I've mainly just stayed inside of school.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, two-time state finalist, and we were talking with Mom. We want that state championship ring.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
I'm cheering for you. Mom's cheering for you. Everyone at Pacelli's cheering for you. What are some of the things you worked on this offseason to get you over the hump and maybe hopefully get you that state championship ring your senior year?
Definitely a mental game. I've been working on like staying more focused, not only in the classroom but on the mat, and just improving all aspects. So I go back and I watch my film and I look at the little things I need to tweak, and it's being faster and staying more dedicated and staying more focused, because I'll lose track of what my end goal is a lot of the time, because in the moment, you know, you've got adrenaline pumping,
Right.
you forget what's going on. But definitely it's been a mental game. Physically, I know I'm where I need to be, and I'm
Good.
on track to be a state champion. Mentally, that's my biggest hill to climb.
Okay, well, we're hoping you get over that hurdle. As a team, you won back-to-back state championships. We were just talking about that. You, the flag football team, and esports are trying to go three-peat. Now that means everyone's gunning for you. Everybody in the GIAA knows who the top dog is. Is that more pressure for y'all? Do you like being the hunted now as a back-to-back state champions? What's the mindset with the team as y'all go in trying to get a three-peat?
I mean, personally, I like being the underdog. It's because everyone overlooks you and they don't expect it. And then you get to go out and you get to shock the crowd.
Right.
But there is this new sensation where you have that target on your back. And it's another thing that just pushes you to do more, because you're like, all of these people who I beat or who may have beaten me last year,
Right.
they're working to get that target in the back of my head. So I'm going to push myself even harder, not only to get that individual state champion, but to make sure my team is where they need to get to the three-peat for the team state championship.
And that's where my final question is going to be about. Well, I got two questions. We'll talk about team and personal goals right now. Obviously, team goal is to go back to back to back. But personal goal, winning a state championship. But would you even like to go further maybe in the national prep qualifier too?
Of course. I mean, right now, I'm looking at winning state as a stepping stone, because what I truly want to be is I want to say that I was an All-American in high school, and that means top 8 in the nation.
Nice.
And I truly believe that I can get there, and that's my goal that I'm working towards. So it's not the state championship's going to be nice, but I want to be able to say I was an All-American.
I love that, man. I love that mindset, and I'm glad you're trying to achieve that goal. My final question is, what do you want to do when you get out of high school? I know everybody has plans. Would you want to go off to college? You already kind of know what you want to do in the work field. What's the mindset for Nicholas Nugent right after Pacelli?
I mean, I definitely want to go to college. A lot of the things that I like doing in my off time, it's like tinkering with my hands and building stuff or solving problems.
Nice.
And so the field that I've found that kind of fits with that is like mechanical or civil engineering. And so I've been looking at colleges and just seeing what will like fit best for me after high school.
This has been an excellent interview. This is a bright young man, and we're hoping he brings home a state championship and helps the team win another state championship. Nicholas, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this year in wrestling, and we hope we're going to at least get one, maybe multiple matches, and hopefully you can win a state championship, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk with the man, the myth, the legend. His name is Adrian Anderson, and we're going to talk about what his team and his goals are this year on the Pacelli Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Are you looking for a great deal on a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC full-size truck? Check them out. Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierras side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika, Alabama. Take your choice. A brand new 2024 Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks, discounted up to $15,000 off, or 0% financing. Plus, no payments till next year. Here at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika.
Get ready to smile. Hey, grab me one too.
My name is Quintia Perry, and this is my CVCC story. I've graduated from CVCC with my associates in medical assistant, and I received my certification from CVCC. The training that I got from CVC and being prepared to come and do clinicals helped tremendously. I started looking at scholarships, and the ambassador scholarship was interesting to me because you did events to earn your scholarship and you meet people. I would recommend CVCC to anyone that asks because of the scholarships, the teachers, the small stuff that you can't get at a university.
Welcome back to the Pacelli Coaches Show here at the Beck Center on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm Thrift Behringer, and now I am with a 3-time state champion, back-to-back here at Pacelli. He's coached wrestling for 37 years. This is his 6th year here with the Vikings. Adrian Anderson, thank you so much, Coach, for joining us.
Great to be here. Appreciate it.
Coach, let's go ahead and get into it, man. For one, why you've been coaching this long, and how do you still have the passion, the energy? I admire you coaches. I was talking with Coach Dwight Jones. I mean, y'all have more energy, more passion, it seems like, than the students half the time. So talk about where does that energy and passion come from to do this for 37 years?
Well, I haven't just done this 37 years. I actually coached 3 sports for 30. I'm over 90 seasons in. I coached football, wrestling, and track. And when I got done in the public school system, I just decided wrestling was always my first love. Right. And I decided that I just wanted to coach wrestling. So, when I went looking for what am I going to do next, I ran into Jason Nugent in a tournament. And he said, we really want to coach. And so I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And after I came down here and interviewed, I wanted to be here. But what keeps you in it's the kids. And the sport keeps me in it. I'm a big believer in the importance of wrestling. America needs more wrestlers. And I tell kids all the time that, the next most important thing you're going to do in your life after you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior is become a wrestler.
Yeah.
It means that much to me.
That's awesome, man. And you talked about making that move here. So
yeah.
You retired from the public sector. You got a call from Jason Nugent.
Yeah.
But what were some other key factors in wanting to make the move back here to Columbus and take on at Pacelli?
Well, I tell you, I like the idea that the program was headed in the right direction already. Numbers weren't very good, and I thought that's something I've always been pretty good at is getting numbers out.
Right.
It was not a poor program by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
But it lacked numbers, and it just.
What do you mean numbers? Can you expound upon that?
I think there were 7 wrestlers when I got here.
And how much was ideally for your team? How many you want?
100. But we the end of the first year, we ended the first year with 13.
Awesome.
The next year we ended with 22, and it's gone up every year after that. And we're looking at, with middle school and varsity this year, we're going to be close to 50.
Holy smokes, Coach! And that's pretty incredible. That's growing the sport, which you should be an ambassador for that for all schools around this area. I got to ask this question, and we'll get more back in your background. On a typical match, you said you have 50 wrestlers.
Yeah.
And well, let's just talk about varsity.
Yeah.
How many actually get to participate in a match?
In a varsity dual match, 14.
Okay.
And, that's considering, you're hoping for at least 30 varsity wrestlers so that it becomes competitive to get that starting spot.
Right.
But you'll have 14. Now, if you go somewhere and you have, say, five matches in a day,
right,
you want to have backups for everybody.
Right.
So 5 wrestling matches in a day is brutal.
Yeah.
Especially now with the 30-minute rule, you only have 30 minutes in between matches.
Oh, geez.
So it can be very quick in between. So you want to have guys that you can count on to slide in. And, we've got that kind of depth, and that's really helped us out the last couple of years.
You talked about you coach multiple sports, but why was wrestling? Why has that always been your first love? Who are guys going back to your maybe wrestling days that really influenced you to love the sport?
I loved the sport. I was not great at it.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I actually broke my neck playing football.
Jeez.
Well, it was back in the old days when, they handed you a helmet and they said, this is a weapon, use it accordingly. And I did.
Right.
I didn't have any, I have a little nerve damage.
Right.
But I didn't get to wrestle my senior year.
Jeez.
And that really left it in me. And we had a new head coach come in, a guy named Tom Fiacco, the legendary Tom Fiacco. And he said, I want you to come in and coach my 8th graders. And as I did that, I started going, this is what I want to do. Well, I went to Auburn. I was a pole vaulter in college.
No, nice.
So I did get to compete in college.
War Eagle, by the
not
way.
in the sport of my choice. War Eagle to you. Not in the sport of my choice, but that wrestling mentality stayed with me. Wrestling mentality is what made me good at track.
Okay. And you talk about mentality, and Nicholas talked about this too, the mental aspect. You know, they say in baseball it's 90% mental, 10% physical. What is it like for wrestling? Because obviously you got to be strong. You got to have.
You've got to be strong. You've got to be
technique,
physical.
right?
But you have to be smart. I've never met a really good wrestler that wasn't smart.
Okay.
You have to be smart in this sport. It's a thinking man sport. If you go out there and you just try to be a hammer, you're going to end up on your back.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that first thing when kids come in, they want to go, and there's all of a sudden they're on their back,
Right.
you know, screaming, you know, for mercy. But, you know, the thing is you've got to be smart. You've got to have you still got to have that aggressive fight mentality, because once the whistle blows, it's a fight. There's a few rules. You can't poke anybody in the eye. You can't punch them. You can't, you know, scratch them. But, you know, it's a fight. It's a fight sport.
Right. And I cannot wait. Again, we're going to try to get as many wrestling matches as we can this upcoming year. It's the Pacelli Coaches Show, and I am with the wrestling coach, Coach Adrian Anderson, who should be in the Hall of Fame if there is a wrestling Hall of Fame, and hopefully there will be one day, but he is back-to-back.
I am.
Oh, you already? Okay. Well, there you go. I asked him beforehand, but he managed to leave that part off. So Hall of Fame, Coach Adrian Anderson. All right, Coach, back-to-back, man. I was talking this with Nicholas Nugent. That means you got the target on your back. You're the top program in the GIAA. What does that feel like for you and your program going in?
Well, we kind of had the target on our back coming in.
Yeah.
After the first year, we finished in the top 10 every year in the GHSA as the smallest school that had wrestling in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
So they kind of knew they were like, okay, these guys are coming. So we kind of had the target on our back coming in.
Right.
And I've had the target on my back for a long time.
Right.
People like to beat my teams,
right.
You know, the teams that I coach. So that it's not new to me. It's kind of new to some of the kids. They're not used to it. But it's going to be really, really tough. Several schools have had some transfers in, including some GHSA state champions. There's a lot of movement towards the GIAA in wrestling because of national preps.
Right. Can you expound upon that, what the national prep is?
National preps is all of the top prep schools in the country.
Okay.
Now, if you look down a list of the top 10 ranked schools in the country, you're going to see all 10 of them are in national preps.
Gotcha.
Wyoming Seminary, Blair, Lake Highland, Florida. You know, these are teams that if you look at they do rankings, national rankings.
Right.
8 out of the top 10 teams are in national preps.
Nice.
So being able to compete in that's huge for us. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. And talking about the GIAA, and now as GIAA is growing, it's getting more and more schools. I know you want to win a state championship, but are you proud of how the sport is growing within the GIAA?
And that's, they kind of know me, that's kind of my tag on everything, grow the sport.
Right.
And it's been fun to watch it grow in the GIAA. Right now, wrestling is the top 2 fastest growing sports in the country.
Wow.
Girls wrestling is number 1. Boys wrestling is number 2.
That's awesome. What's led to the resurgence? What do you think has led to be more people wanting to wrestle?
A lot of it is learning self-reliance. I think people are getting more and more away from the softer sports. I hate to say that. Every sport's hard.
Right.
But I think people want their kids in that thing where they have to rely on themselves.
Yeah.
Plus, it's been having the girls has been huge. Okay. I met a guy years ago, and I had a girl on the team, and he was, we don't want them girls, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and I told him then, I said, listen to me, the girls are going to save us. When the girls start going full time, the sport's going to come out of its funk, because every year from 1976 up until about 5 or 6 years ago, the wrestling numbers just dropped precipitously.
Right.
And in the last 5 or 6 years, they've gone through the roof.
Wow.
We're growing everywhere. And the big part I've loved is seeing it grow in the South, because there was a time, I mean, when I was young, you know, if you went to an event and there was a kid from Pennsylvania there, you were going to lose,
Right.
you know. But now, you know, we see our Georgia kids going out and competing with kids from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York, and New Jersey, and the big wrestling states that are, you know, known for wrestling, and we're right there with them. And, you know, when you look down that list at the Super 32, and it's Pennsylvania, California, New Jersey, Ohio, Georgia. You know, that's awesome to see us,
No doubt.
how far we've come.
No doubt about it. And we were talking off air about the girls' wrestling program.
Yes.
How has that grown here at Pacelli, and how proud are you of that?
I'm super proud of it. Darlene Nugent has been huge on that. She really pushes the girls. We are one girl from having a dual meet team, and we're hoping we get more than that.
Right.
But we're one weight class from being able to field a real full girls team.
Right.
And that would be awesome. But you know, it's exciting, and I've coached a few girls before.
Right.
One of them, Tina Smallwood, one of the most amazing stories I ever had in my coaching career. She was the one that kind of got me over to, this is pretty cool.
Right.
Coaching girls is awesome. They actually listen to you.
Right. That's what all the coaches say. I asked Bryant Thomas, their girls coach, because he had always been a boys coach. He's like, man, girls, they pick up things faster. They listen. They always feel like you know what is right for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Oh,
you
it's
said
been
that, man.
great. I've loved it. I've been like, man, this is awesome.
Talking with Nicholas, going back to back, okay?
Yeah.
What are some things you have worked on this off season as you get ready for the season to start to make sure that you can do three-peat?
A lot of detail drills about head position,
Right.
hand fighting. We have a problem with blocking shots, so we have a hard time keeping guys off our legs sometimes. So we've kind of emphasized that. The new rules are really going to play into the way we wrestle with the 3-point takedown and the 4-point near falls.
Right.
Those are great for us. You know, people were, oh no, this is going to happen, and I was like, awesome.
Right. We want that.
We want that. It's going to be good for us.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We are talking with Adrian Anderson. He's a two-time state champion here at Pacelli, back-to-back, and he also won one at Northgate. So he's got 3 state championships, growing the sport. Coach, let's talk about Nicholas Nugent and some other seniors that are on this team that you've been proud of and proud of your program that you want to give a shout-out to. I know you can't shout out all 50 wrestlers, but
no, I hate
as
doing
much
it.
as you can.
Having Nicholas like having an extra coach in the room, which is good and bad. Sometimes it's bad for him because he spends too much time coaching instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Right.
And that drives me kind of crazy. But I've got several like that. Sophia Shervanek, one match from being an All-American last year.
Oh, wow.
2-time state champion also. She's another one. It's like having another coach in the room. Jake Carpenter has come a long way since he got here. Really changed his body. He's you look at him now, you wouldn't even know it was the same kid that showed up here. Henry Blickhan is, at the beginning of the year last year, was a JV wrestler. He couldn't even start for us. He ends up at the end of the year placing in the state tournament.
That's incredible, man.
The Ducote brothers, always great to have brothers.
Yep.
You always want brothers because you want them to fight. You want them to get in a fight in the room.
Yeah.
You start throwing, punches.
Yeah.
But they've been fantastic.
You
Jose.
You can literally, name a lot of them, Coach, but I know you're proud of them and proud of what they've been able to accomplish these last couple of years. What I want to ask now is the same thing I asked Nicholas on why Pacelli's special. I feel like you're happy here, Coach. The first time I met you, I think, was about a year ago. Corey Black introduced me like, this guy right here is the winningest coach we have here. And now you got 11 or 12, 13, I think, state championships in the last 2 years since joining the GIAA. But why do you love Pacelli and why is it special to you?
It's a great place. There's so many things here that make it special. Nicholas mentioned family. We have an outstanding administration. I have had a lot of administrators over the years, and I've never had an administration as good as we have right now.
Awesome.
With Ms. Brewster and Mr. Ernest. They're awesome. There's also a faith aspect to it.
Right.
It's a Catholic school. I'm not Catholic.
Right.
But it's not just that. It's the whole ability to be able to worship in what you're doing and everything you do. I teach physics.
Right.
And to me, that's another form of faith. You know, that's another form of what I do that you know, adds into what makes this place special.
Right.
And, you know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy they hadn't figured out yet that I'm just faking it.
You talk about he's teaching physics, which was one of the toughest classes I had to take in college, man. So it shows me that you're brilliant. And then also you're a great coach, which is pretty incredible. I want you to talk about the Beck Center, because this place, when you can't get in the gymnasium, is a place for you to be able to practice. So talk about why is this place special?
We would not have won the state championship last year without the Beck Center, because numbers, first of all. We were in the cafeteria. We had too many wrestlers for one mat.
Right.
This allowed us to practice until we were done. It allowed us to not wait. And our practice time went from having an hour and 15, an hour and a half of practice, and an hour of cleaning up the cafeteria, setting up, breaking down the cafeteria, because we had to sweep it, clean it every day.
Be ready for school the next day.
And be ready for the next day.
Right.
We've added another 45 minutes of good practice in there.
Awesome.
And that, you know, that was huge.
Yeah, and that's the main reason the Beck Center is here for Pacelli of student and academic success. So thank you so much to Roger Beck for being a sponsor of ours, and you're hearing the success stories as Coach Adrian Anderson talks about. Final question this year for your team. I know you want to win another state championship, but seeing guys go to the next level or as far as they can go, is that ultimately the goal for you as a coach and winning back to back to back? What is it for you?
I like to win. Don't get me wrong.
You're a competitor
I play
now.
to win. And ultimately, what I want to see is the guys that come out of my program go out and be good businessmen, good, honest engineers, good dentists, doctors, lawyers, whatever, plumbers, whatever they choose to do in life,
Right.
and be excellent at it because of what they learn on the mat. And I want them to be good husbands and good fathers, and the rest of it is dust collectors.
Right.
You know, we've all got dust collectors, medals. They're just dust collectors. They don't really. They're nothing really. The dust collectors aren't important.
Right.
It's what happens when you leave here.
And what defines you.
What defines you.
And those medals, they're great in the moment, but they're not going to define you as a man or woman down the line. This guy is an excellent coach. He's a Hall of Famer. He's trying to go three-peat here, so make sure you cheer on the Pacelli Vikings coach. What an interview. And we were talking. He's actually got some broadcasting, so I may be using him for some of my broadcasts because he said he hosts some coaches shows back in the day. His name is Adrian Anderson. Coach, good luck the rest of this year.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to streaming some of your matches. This
Absolutely.
is the Pacelli Coaches Show live from the Beck Center. We'll see you